as a righteous man falls, Jesus gives us his grace or empowerment to rise up when Satan, circumstances, or friends have caused us to fall. And you know, we've all experienced that, where somebody close to us has caused us to fall, where circumstances have arisen and they've overwhelmed us, or when Satan has brought on such levels of temptation that we were unable to resist him. In Proverbs 24:16 it says, "For a righteous man falls 7 times and rises again. But the wicked-hearted stumble and falls with no recovery strength in all times of calamity." So when things are going bad all around in the world, if you fall, you have no strength to get up, and there's nobody there to help you up. And you have to ask, why is it that people still think they have the strength to overpower God? I mean, that's why they do their own thing, right? Because they believe they have the strength to overpower God, outthink God, the Father, and find loopholes in everything that he's thinking and doing. Why is that? Well, provision has been made by our Father for our times of failure and regression. When we lose sight of our purpose, there's a provision been made to get us back on track. But only those who are seeking righteousness will stand to fight again. If you're seeking your will, your way, you won't stand to fight again. And the thing is that he's also the giver of the grace to succeed. You remember where it says, you're more than victors? Well, to be more than a victor, what is it that's at the root of it? You have access to God power. Failure comes when you shut off God. It's a guarantee. Failure will come. When you move to the get system and not the give system or the thankfulness system of God, then guess what? You're in the sewer. And sometimes you can get sucked a long ways down in the sewer. Well, because there's a provision that when we finally come and say, hey, this isn't a good place to be, you can call out and Jesus will pull you out of the pit or out of the sewer that you're in. And we all know what flushes down the sewer, right? Waste material. But yet it's the place where most people want to try and get to. Even believers. They seek to find the sewer. Because it's an old system that they're familiar with. Yet flushed into failure. Well, there's some warnings attached in this thing. And the warnings are concerns are given in verses 17 to 20.
What was that? Proverbs 24.
Of Proverbs 24, yes. In verse 17 it says, "Do not rejoice when your enemy falls, and do not let your heart be glad when he stumbles." Very important. Then we'll come back to it more, but just keep that in mind. In verse 18, "Lest the Eternal see your lack of mercy and be displeased, and then turn off his anger from the one that was attacking you, or your enemy, and turn it on you." Those who did this, who sent this, or who's responsible for these weapons coming my way or attacks, is not only in a lack of love and mercy, but shall we say, it is a need that they have to rejoice when their enemy stumbles and falls, that causes an open door for their attack. It draws it in like a magnet for their attack. God has to release the enemy from suffering the consequences of his action and allow continued attacks upon you because you chose darkness and not the blessings of the kingdom of light. You know, he says, bless your enemies. Do good to those who despitefully use you. It doesn't say secretly curse them and think God doesn't know. Amen? Well, when you seek to find out who did this, who sent this, where's this coming from, what you're doing is saying, I want more attacks. The last one Satan sent wasn't good enough. Let's see what else he can do to break me. And he will, because you've removed the grace of God as a defense. There's something about do not rejoice when your enemy falls. Do not rejoice over somebody else's problems. Oh, finally they got theirs. Don't look forward to their time of trouble. Because that isn't what you were called to do. Nowhere in the Word of God will you find that as a commission for you to do. Rejoice at somebody else's problems. It's something that we see in today's humor, like on America's Funniest Home Videos. The more a person has been hurt, the funnier it seems to be for people. And they have other stupidity programs, I think they call them real reality shows or something like that. But they're not reality. They're teaching you to rejoice when your enemy falls and doesn't make the goal he sets for himself or the wall. You know. So instead of blessing him, or in fact when you laugh, you curse him. And you curse yourself. Isn't that wonderful? You get to curse yourself. Into failure, into more attacks, into the death frequency. And it stops healing, stops prosperity, stops growth. You see, when we expose a lack of mercy, it can't do anything but displease God. It can't. And so, the blessing that you were to receive, your enemy now has to receive. And you do without. You go into the punishment that he was to receive. When you rejoice at his problems. So find somebody that's in trouble and start rejoicing over their troubles, right? In verse 19 it says, "Do not fret yourself because of evildoers, or be envious of the wicked." In verse 20, "For there will be no future for that evil man. The lamp of the wicked will always be put out." Now, if you're trying to put it out by your curses and words and things like that, guess what you have just assigned for yourself? Just like Pharaoh did. "I'm going to kill all your firstborn." What happened to the firstborn of Egypt?
Got killed.
They got killed. He was going to kill his enemies, and his enemies escaped. And he suffered the consequences of the loss of his son.
And his life.
And eventually his life. Okay? And it didn't take long after the Passover service before Pharaoh was seen no more. And you notice that he drowned on a dry bridge. What he sought to do to Israel came upon him. Well, that isn't written just for entertainment. That's telling you that what you propose to do to your enemies is what comes back on you. So if you're blessing your enemies, what comes back on you?
Blessings.
Wow. Isn't that amazing? And that's what we have to do. Bless your enemies.
Is it similar if somebody is not actually your enemy, but you become their enemy?
If they're attacking you in any way, they're your enemy.
Okay, but if they are not, and by your own state of mind or choice, you've made them your enemy.
Yes, and they're not really your enemy. There's major repercussions on you. This fretting will bring the corrections planned for the evildoer down upon you. You were called to be a blessing, the light to the world, the salt, the preserver of the world. And you were told to pray for your enemies. If you're seeking their harm, you're not a preserver. You're not blessing. You're cursing. And the sickness of that water comes up back on you.